ahead of his evening with friends. I asked if the water smelt like bleach, but she didn't answer. I can't remember whether it was her silence or something else altogether, but that week I heard everything for the first time. It seemed my ears had become attuned to the sounds of my father's after-hour activities, and apparently once you tune into that frequency, you can never turn it off. The only time my mother and father presented a truly united front was in their efforts to hide the injuries that followed, yet there were times when they couldn't even manage that. One morning stands out in particular. Their antics from the previous evening had left my mother's right hand entirely useless. This was something my father regretted when his breakfast was served 15 minutes late. Each offer of assistance from me was greeted by, "She can manage." Losing patience, he squashed my fifth offer of help. The grip of his fingers around my wrist was quickly followed by a twist, and then a grinding sensation. "You get that bloody hand off her." It was my mother's first and only intervention. That evening, I felt the front leg of a stray cat crack inside my hand. I realised then that his angle hadn't been right at all, not if he'd wanted to break a bone. On reflection, it could be considered a perverse achievement that we lived like this for so long. But times change, and I, as most children do, eventually had to depart for greener pastures. The beatings worsened after I left for university. My mother never told me, explicitly, but she never really needed to. My early video chats with her soon disintegrated into half video, half darkness. While my face was suspended in the corner of my laptop screen, the space that hers should occupy remained black. Given that she never mentioned it, I assumed that I wasn't expected to either. With this home life situation a secondary concern now, my main problem became how to correctly perform an autopsy on a pig, a primary concern for most biology students at university, and one that I took to with disproportionate excitement. In this new setting, the animal-based experiments that I had so frequently performed at home became something worth sharing, with a room full of people no less, all of whom were up to their elbows in entrails themselves. My fellow students would animate carcasses, using one hand to manipulate the mouth of a long-dead animal while providing an amusing voiceover for the creature, and smuggle organs into each other's workspaces in a manner that I found refreshing, encouraging even. The interactions with these new associates helped me to grow and explore myself in a way that I was told I should at university. One classmate, Angela Straven, even shared her experiences with formaldehyde and methanol over 2 bottles of wine and a girls' night. And from this, the preservation of my experiments was born, and the subsequent storage of them as well. It all went a long way towards normalising my behaviour, although it's possible that wasn't a good thing. On an irregular basis, I was lured away from my student life of beans on toast, animal dissections and Friends reruns. My mother was always pleased, or relieved, to have me home, while my father often greeted me with a notable lack of interest. That is, of course, on the few occasions when he felt moved enough to greet me at all. If nothing else, these visits home reminded me of precisely why I had abandoned the house and its misfit occupants in the first place. So perhaps, in that sense, they served a purpose. Our family history may make for a surprising read, I suppose, for anyone viewing it from an external angle. We managed. It was our very own version of normality. The most surprising element, in fact, is not the abuse and the subsequent damage that it caused at all. The most surprising thing, I think, is that one of us didn't die sooner. Chapter 1. We were dropped back into the dysfunctional dynamics of family life at the end of my second year of university, when I reluctantly returned home for the summer months. A complication with contracts, thanks to my would-be housemates, meant that keeping away for the holidays was not an option that year. On the afternoon of my arrival, my mother's arm was already tucked away in a sling which disappeared after a day or two. I had just escaped an outburst. Beyond that, everything was average, unchanged. After my first evening in my own bed, my first morning was made up of dead air between my father and me. I made tea in the kitchen as he tried to read his morning paper.